Hi, and welcome back to our channel. If you are new to Oswald Digestive Clinic, take some time to browse through the many videos that we've compiled that give you lots of wonderful nutrition tips to help you lead a healthy life. My name is Marcy Vasky, and I am a functional medicine nutritionist specializing in gut health. So I work with a lot of people who struggle with constipation, bloating, diarrhea, gas, and really that's just to name a few. So if this sounds like you or someone you know, I encourage you to check out our link down below that I've linked to sign up for an initial appointment where we can help you work through some of those issues that you're having. Or if you're the kind of person who likes to do things on their own, I'll also link below our 5 ways to improve gut health guide. And this is great for you to get started and to learn some extra information about your own gut. Well, folks, the holiday season is here, and if you're like most Americans, your stress level will rise. I know mine does. So how do you get by? What happens is that many of us have actually trained our brains to cope by eating. And if that's one of your mechanisms, I want you to listen in today. Maybe you're going toward eating mashed potatoes or the pumpkin pie or the pecan pie or the cake or the cookies. But you name it, and it's any food that is a comfort for you that we have learned and trained our brains to want when we're in these stressful times. So today, I'm going to go through 3 tips to help you survive and maybe even thrive this holiday season. Whether your goal is to decrease stress eating, unwind anxiety, or maybe even just create short mental wellness breaks throughout the year. And this is the science to go with it. So tip number 1 is understanding our cravings. Cravings are actually messages from the body that says something is out of whack or out of balance. And the most common foods that we're going to find ourselves craving are going to be sugar, carbohydrates, maybe some chocolate, salt, and for some, even cheese. Now, increased cravings are a result of low serotonin. And serotonin is our feel-good neurotransmitter that's produced mainly in our GI tract. It has a strong influence on our mood, appetite, and even our digestion. Now, when we eat carbohydrates or sugar, it increases the release of that serotonin, that feel-good neurotransmitter, making us feel pretty fabulous. But remember, it's only temporarily. So when our levels are low, our brain thinks, oh, let's grab that candy bar or that cookie or that piece of cake, or maybe it's the bagel or chips, and that'll fix us. But that won't for long term. So a low serotonin level can be due to poor gut health, right? Because I mentioned that serotonin is made in our gut, and 90% of our serotonin is actually made there. So in order to maintain those feel-good levels of serotonin, we need to make sure our gut is in tip-top shape. And when our gut is in good shape, it can absorb nutrients much better and help to make those neurotransmitters, that serotonin that we need so much. And this was really dependent on having healthy amounts of digestive enzymes in our stomach and also the proper balance of good flora in our intestinal tract. So if our gut isn't so healthy and we have maybe an overabundance of the not so good bacteria or the good guys, which can happen from too much stress, maybe you take antibiotics recently, or you're eating a lot of processed, refined foods, that all influences that good flora in our gut. So what do we want to do for tip number 1 to help decrease those cravings and increase serotonin? Make sure your gut is in tip-top shape. Tip number 2 is going to be understanding your habits. And I think this is a really fun one. So our brains kind of learn in a 3-step process with this. What happens is that first we see the food and our brain says, calories, survival, right? And then we actually eat the food, and then finally our bodies send a signal to our brains to remember what we're eating and where we found it. And so we kind of slowly lay down these memory tracks. So if it was a wonderful piece of cake and your brain was lit up from it and increased that serotonin, it's going to want to go back to that. So again, we might see that cake or see that food, eat the food, feel good, and then we just keep repeating it. So what we want to understand is what your trigger, your behavior is, and then the reward with it. So does that seem simple? Kind of, but we all know that those cravings pop up, and we're not tracking. I see the food, I'm going to eat it, and this makes me feel good. We're not thinking about our behavior all the time with this. So what happens is that after a while, our brains learn that if we eat the sweets, as I said, when you're mad or sad and you feel better, it wants to keep doing that and it wants to repeat it. And as you're watching your habits, you'll notice that this becomes stronger and stronger when we are sad or we're stressed. It's just an emotional response. And so really it's no wonder that during the holiday season, our cravings really go haywire. So what you want to start paying attention to is taking time to understand those habits and identify what kind of initiates or triggers that craving. And in the resulting behavior, what do you do when that happens? And you'll be amazed at what you notice throughout the day, because this not only during the holiday season that we're doing this. This is month to month, day to day, right? And when you experience the craving, you instead of immediately grabbing the food or getting trapped by that emotion, recognize how you really kind of feel in that moment. Are you stressed and that's why you're doing that? What else can you do instead? These cravings often make us operate in kind of autopilot. We're just kind of doing it. We're not paying attention to it until you stop yourself. And research really has shown that even using willpower, which a lot of us think, oh, I just don't have enough willpower, or yeah, I'm really good at this when my willpower is strong. But willpower isn't going to be the answer. It's going to be following your habits, your triggers, your emotion, and what kind of behavior happens after that. So don't rely on that and start recognizing what might be underneath of this. And you will realize that you are in control of your cravings instead of your cravings being in control of you. And our last thing we're going to go through in a way to kind of curb those holiday cravings is ditch dieting. We need to ditch our traditional dieting that we've done over years, right? And you might be saying, well, then why are there always so many different diets out there? And it really comes down to because a lot of us aren't in control. And so we need that next diet to latch on to give us some consistency or make us feel like we're working toward a goal. And if you just recognize that the diet before didn't work, and you're going to start another one, question yourself, why am I doing this? I've done this over the years. This isn't working for me. So ditching dieting is going to help you a lot in decreasing those cravings, because oftentimes diets can be made up of, calorie restriction, or you can only eat so many foods. And we can do that for a short amount of time, but pretty quickly when that restriction gets old, let's say it's even 1 month, 2 months later, and you're back to old habits. And that goes back to the tip number 2 that I was talking about, is identifying your habit, and that will help decrease those cravings. So what do you want to lean into here? Lean into eating whole foods, real foods. Not only is that going to make you feel more satiated for a long period of time, eating things like proper amounts of protein at all of your meals, getting those good healthy fats that are so tasty, and having a few of those carbohydrates that give us that energy and that feel-good serotonin that I chatted about earlier. Those things keep us feeling fuller longer, keep cravings away, and keep our blood sugar steady. So as you're moving through this holiday season, I really encourage you to first, is your gut healthy? Are you making enough serotonin? And is that why you're having those cravings? Remember, cravings are a sign of imbalance in our body. And then, are you recognizing your habits? Pay attention throughout the day. What's your trigger? And what is the response? And how can you kind of just sit with it for a moment before reacting? And lastly, get rid of the dieting. Eat good protein, eat good carbohydrates, and make sure you get those healthy fats. And your holiday season will be a lot less stressful.